Hi, this is G. You can also go by Tommy. Um, okay, this is the project demo video for my solutions to Brave Careers like mini challenges. Um, the prod the project is simply a simple um, a AI chatbot that scrapes a given URL and then answers questions about the URL. The project is split into two portions. One server and then also the client. This what the server does is it receives response from the client and then it stores a stored conversation in the databases and also send the conversation to AI to generate response. The client is just the UI UX part. The server uses Flask for the backend, also Python Flask framework, and then the client uses React with Dino runtime, and also Redux for state management. Mm, Okay, let's see. So initially, this page is nothing's have started. Then let me just start a server and then also start a client here, Dino run dev. So we can see the client started at this port. Then let's see. Okay, so this is how the interface look like. Um, in order to start a conversation, you just enter URL. Let's say chatsimple.ai set URL. Then the assistant will say, yeah, A stand for assistant, and there's a U stand for user. So trained on um, trained on chatsimple.ai. This is if the user enter a website URL that does not have all the sufficient portion, just like what I entered chatsimple.ai, and then it will autocomplete to this like the correct version of a URL. And please check above the checkbox to see a reference ID. I've made a UI change, so this is not valid anymore. The reference ID is actually here. It's on the right hand side of the chat box. It's not above. Um, okay. And then can just say something to get started. Um, what is chat simple? Simple AI. Then this is AI generated response. Chat simple AI is an AI engine. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, personalized conversation, visitors, whatever. This is just AI generated response. Um, we should probably be very familiar with. And then what also comes with the AI response, it's the options. These are just the button to click, and then once we click on these options, we can quickly basically those are just quick questions. Let's say um I want to explore the benefits. Okay, offers several benefits. Um, yep, yep. Those are just features for AI chatbots. This is pretty cool. And then we user can also type on custom messages. Um, let's say, can you elaborate on this point, please? Oh, actually, let's say on the first point, please. Because I have implemented the AI memory system in the client and server, so it actually know what is the what is the first point in the conversation context. 24/7 availability. Yes. Yeah, the first point, the AI knows what is the first point. Chatbots provide 24/7 availability, meaning they can engage website visitor, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is it. I think this is a very simple use case. And also there's another field that we haven't used yet. This is called rewind from previous chat ID, because we have right now we have a current chat reference ID here. Because this is a mini challenge, I didn't implement the user system. So anyone who visit this website can just get into chat with this AI. However, I also think user may want to go back to their previous chat to retrieve some chat contacts. So just refresh, everything's gone, because this is all the chat informations are not stored on cookies in local client. This can be implemented in the future if this become a serious thing. Let's say we had a chat reference ID as 4. So rewind from this chat ID. Okay, this is whatever we have, and then we can continue the conversation. That's that's cool. Tell me more benefit. So what I demonstrated is that um, whenever we rewind from the chat, we can continue the chat. Um, just like how we had a conversation. I think that's it for the demo. Oh yeah, here. Once the conversation URL is set, then then the user cannot change it anymore. I think that's it for this demo. This is the simple use case. And then next up, we are gonna go to walk through the source code section. Let's get started with the client code, since we just show off what the UI, what the like how the functionality, how the apps works. This is probably more closely related to how the apps look like. So here, in terms of the UI, I use this most Materials UI from Google, just to build quick and usable user interface. And then let's get started with the store. How the state management, how the state of each component in the UI looks like is here. We have reference ID. These they are also all stored using Redux. You have a configure store, then use a chat reducer. This chat reducer stands has a initial state, which is these 3 fields, they are all empty. ID is the chat reference ID we see, and then URL is the chat URL that we talk about, and then the convo is here, the conversation. Um, um, and the convo is here. Whatever the user and the chat assistant's conversation is stored in convo. It's stored as a list of strings, zeros as a list of chats. I think here I have a type defined here, make it more make it more um visible. This interface is a chat. A chat is it's just a basic TypeScript object of a ID string, and then URL string, and then also a conversation. It's a message. Message it's can be sent from user or assistant, and also is content. Um, yep. Let's go back. Let's go back to the reducer, which is state test slice. Yep. And dip parse is just a helper function to parse the response from the server. Then we have a couple reducers for this chat size. Low chat, just to remember the function we used, rewind from chat, just to retrieve all the information of a chat from the server and then send it to the client. And then we load all of that information. This at last message is to let's say is to add the last message that the user have sent or the response from the server to our conversation so that we can display it in the UI. Let's say here, once if I send a message, then it will just add this last message to the whole conversation so that to change the state of this React app so that it will be displayed on this chat. Update URL is just simply whenever a user enters a new URL, it will just update there. Just show the update. This is also just React state. Select chat ID. These are just selector to view what's the values in this Redux store. And also then I think for this part I tried to no then we have rewind chat. It is um whenever we press this um rewind chat button, what it does load chat. We load a chat from ID. To mention that I try to separate the code as how I would do if I'm working. This So these are related to routes. So just load from chat ID. Just separate the logic. These are all the routes. Routes index.ts, send chat message, and send URL. I think all these are pretty basic. App.ts, and then set URL whenever whatever the React app does, when user click set URL, whatever. Okay. Um, so send to server. So we send a message to server, and then the bot message will we'll get a chat message that's generated by AI, and we'll add to our conversation just to show the user what we have talked. That's about it. These are just the code. To mention, like these code they really should be separated into different files. However, because this is just a um, simple mini challenge, so these code for just to render the user interface, I'll just put them all together. But if this is not a mini challenge, they really should be separated, just like how I separate the logics into all different files. Also, I've added unit tests for this is just an example dummy unit test just to test our autocomplete URL function in our utilities. Let's say utils. Yep, this is how we use regular expression to match the input URL and try to autocomplete it. Then let's say this is dino run test. No, dino test. Yep. Right. This is just unit test. That's pretty easy. It's pretty basic. I think that's it for the client. Wait, let me check. Yep. React state. We have talked about React state management with Redux. And then UI related part, I use this MUI just to generate quick stuff. Also, for the CSS for the CSS of this code, I really don't I don't feel like spending much time on it. So I use this AI to generate some CSS code for me. However, AI doesn't it's not able to get everything right, so I still have to tweak around myself to make it look like whatever I want it to look like. Yep, and we talked about separate code logic. And then yeah, JS testing library, we use Dino runtime that comes with the built-in library. This error is just this is PyCharm, it's IDE for Python. It doesn't recognize this Dino symbol, but we have showed but I've showed they all runs fine. So this is actually ID scene thing. I just didn't set it up. And then let's move to the server. Server starts from app.py. I also try to separate all the logics because so this app.py is really just routings. So this is a dummy route for us to check to make sure the server is running when I'm using Postman to test. And then I try to add types to Python on type signature to Python's functions. However, they are not like really enforced, even though the output type is different. The Python doesn't report any error. This is not a compiled language. However, I still find that adding types is beneficial for collaborative development or even just for debugging purposes. Okay, initial this route called URL. Just initialize the chat. This is whenever we enter the URL here, we click on the set URL, the request will be sent to this route. So oh wait, actually let me start from. We'll first start from initializing the databases whenever we run the app. So here we'll first start with the db init. Initialize the databases if um, if this chat database is not existed. So we have ID URL page content, which stands for um, whatever the URL user entered, and then we need to we use a bot to scrape the page content and then store it in the URL. And this is a blob because this is um, it's very likely the amount of the text in that page content is very large, so we use blob because that's better. That is specifically optimized for a large amount of context. And then combo, we know that from the client. It's just a conversation. Okay, yeah, you can also see I try to separate everything so that everything is clear for better readability. Initialize the databases, and then also I add like comments for functions. Oh, okay, and then initialize the databases, and then the port is running on this server port from config file. Yeah, we have a 8000. Let's go back to this URL. Whenever a user try to set a URL, it would get a URL. Then we will need to validate this URL. If this format is invalid, the um, yeah, we need to validate this URL again on the backend, even after we autocomplete in the front end, because the front end code can be modified in user developer tool. So it is possible that the front end, like things in the front end can be changed, and then they try to inject it to a server. So I need to validate it again on the server just to make sure the URL format is not invalid. And then if it is invalid, we just return a 400 response. I like to whenever I'm developing web services, I like to make this handle most of or all of the server error. I don't want to see internal server error because that basically means that that error is not like handled. Like the developer didn't think of how to handle the error. I don't like it. So I try to handle all the different response uh just to make just for the debugging purposes. If there's anything went wrong, it's clear to see. And also, this is also a note for me to say, okay, I have thought of this error. I have thought of this possible conditions. Um, uh, I handled it, and then oh yeah, go back. We would need to go back to page content, and then we use scrape page content as a function from the utilities function. It scrape and return the text context of a web page, and this comment should be very clear of what it does. Use this beautiful soup to do the scrape. Um, yeah, and then let's go back to app.py, and then yeah. So if everything's correct, we scrape the page content, and then we will create a chat in a database. So it will start. This is a initial conversation. Role is system content trained on this URL. Please check above. So it should be checked right of the textbooks text box to see your reference ID. This is what it actually should be look like. Then execute a query to create a chat. These are just like pretty like obvious. Yep. Now let's talk about chat. Chat is how when user send a message to the AI chatbot, we still get some parameters, and then validation, and then right here is something I want to check. So we'll retrieve the conversation from the previous chat. So retrieve the conversation whenever we receive a message, and then we will load this conversation as a JSON, and then append user message so that we have a chat context before, and then we add a new message. And then we also have a setting prompt. The reason why I do it like this is that I don't want to expose the setting prompt to the client, so a user doesn't see this like AI chatbot settings. So the role is system content is um, the page content of our previous chat, which is the web page we scraped. We don't want to display that to the user. We just want it, but we also need to feed it to the AI. And also initial setting prompt, which is just how AI will need to answer users' question and provide four related options that my user might be interested in. Yep. And then we have a response last message, pen last message. Yes, just sonify the response. That's pretty obvious. I think we probably missed this send to AI, this function. It's how we interact with ChatGPT endpoint. Um, the API key is set in the configuration in the .env file, so um, it is not exposed to it is not exposed to developers. And we use send to AI. So AI completion, we use a model and then response format. This is the structured output response I used to use ChatGPT. We need to define a schema for in Pythandic, so that I will need to, so that the all the UI how to say all the response generated by AI will give you will follow exactly this format, so that I can use one one API call to AI to get both the response, like the body, the answer to user's question, and also a couple of four options. And then we just return that response to whatever we call the send to AI, get a response, and then send back to the user. And then we have a load chat, which is the option, the ability of, oh no, not here, it's here. It's rewind. This is just low chat. We have a chat ID, blah blah. Yeah. Basically what it does is just to fetch, to retrieve chat from databases, and then send it to the front end, send it to the client. That's pretty simple. I think. Oh yeah, I want to talk about this chat schema. This is actually not required in Python applications, but I think it is beneficial to use with Pydantic. This chat schema basically just makes sure whatever we want to send is satisfied with this schema. So we want to send back the response to the user, and we want to use this schema to make sure all these fields exist in this chat we retrieved from that database, and model dumped into a Python dictionary, which is just JSON. Um, and then JSON just send back the JSONified version of this chat dict, and then send back to the client. Um, and we can see the databases how it looks. So we have chat reference ID, right? So it is URL and chatsimple.ai page content. This is whatever we scraped from web. And then conversation, it's stored as a string. It's a string JSON format, or list of messages. We have talked about this in the client. Queries, constants, these are just how I separate code logic. Um, utils, yeah, um, this is documentation, blah blah blah. I think, yeah. I also use the virtual environment, just Python virtual environment, just so I don't want to mess up with like when I'm working on multiple project, I don't want to mess up my local computer my local computer Python environment. So I always use virtual environment when I'm doing Python projects. I think source code, that's it. Let me check if I have go over everything I want to talk about. Oh yeah. Logic structure separation, we have talked about it. And then the .env file to hide the secret key and not polluting the current system. We have talked about it because I don't want to uh, talking about, speaking of polluting current system, is that the URL key, they can be put into .zshrc file um, to access as well. Um, the in that case, if you're developing multiple apps right now, then your .zshrc will just be full of API secret keys. But this OpenAI secret key is only just for this project, so I prefer to store in a .env file. And then Pydantic for data type validation. Um, for both for AI response and DB data before sending it out. That's correct. That we have talked about this, and also in ChatGPT we make sure the response follows this response schema. And also, oh yeah, I use the Postman for API testing when I'm developing the backend. Developing this project, I try whenever I'm developing any web projects. I use this a design and develop backend first, and then test it with the Postman, and then work on the front end. Oh yeah, the AI memory system. Um, um, because I have implemented the AI memory system myself, because OpenAI API endpoint doesn't provide this ability, doesn't provide memories for the endpoint. So what I do is I store all the conversations, and then combine it with like wait here. Oh yeah. store all the conversations so as a whole context, and also add a settings. So this is whatever we actually send to AI. We are not only sending a message, we send a whole conversation to message and then ask AI to respond on the last question from the user. This is how the memory system works. There's a drawback in this way is that when your conversation gets really large, it might be wasteful to send everything to the AI. It causes a lot of tokens to generate a response. One thing we can do is to just store the last couple conversation in our databases and summarize our previous conversation uh, for UI to get a context. For example, if we have 10 messages in our conversations, then we can say like summarize the previous 6 messages to store it in the databases, and the the rest of the 4 messages that's most close to the like that is the latest, we store it. Okay, yeah, and structured output. Oh yeah, I have talked about it. How AI have a structured output. Whatever AI output always follows this response schema. And then I also add a lot of try catch here and there, just to make sure all just to make note that okay, all these type of error I have thought about how I should handle it. This is not something I forget about. Um, and what can be improved on the backend side? As I mentioned, summarize previous chat conversation or implement a model level memory to save the storage space. Um, I think model level memory, what I mean is some parameters that you can convert the whole conversation into parameters like the weight for a neural net um, to reduce the storage space, or you can map the whole conversation into a lower dimension, and whenever you need to use it, you just map it back. These are whatever I learned um, from our intro to AI course, basically just statistics. Um, and then we can also add cache server like Redis to store chats, to store conversations, so that it will help us to reduce the number of databases access, stores and store updated conversation whenever the user is not active for a while. Um, and then for here, I use this SQLite because this comes with Python, and this is just a very simple project. So um, if we have more user, then we probably want to consider a better performance database. And what else can be improved? Oh, it's so now let's see, chess. Whatever we scraped, it's pretty like those data are pretty raw. So we can probably do some data cleaning here in the scraped content to make sure this is first, it doesn't take as much space. The generated information can be more accurate. We don't want to fit a bunch of like lots of information to the AI. We just want to fit valuable information to AI. Um, yeah, and also for the scrape, we can also implement something that's scrape related URL as well. Right now, we only scrape one URL. We can do a recursive scrape if user asks deeper question. And something else I can improve is more try catch. I want to catch all kind of errors. And then just adding unit test as well. Uh, yeah, for I think that's it for the source code go overs. Um, yeah, I don't think I've missed uh anything. Uh, that's it. Thank you. I know this is a very long video. Thank you for watching.